Myself Hina Parmar, and today, the second day of presentation season 4, I'm going to deal with the topic a study of Yoruba culture in also Inca's play, A Dance of the Forest. These are my academic information. Some points which I'm going to deal in my presentation about also Inca introduction of the play Dance of the Forest, the origin of Yorubas, a study of Yoruba culture in also Inca's Dance of the Forest, Yoruba mask as a symbol, also Inca and his Yoruba worldview, and conclusion and then resource. Uh, Let us start with the introduction of Wolsoinka. Wolsoinka was the won the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1986. He is the best known as the playwright. Alongside his literary career, he has also worked as an actor and in theatres in Nigeria and Great Britain. His works also include poetry, novels, and essays. Soinka writes in English, but his works are rooted in his native Nigerian and Yoruba culture, with its legends, tales, and traditions. His writing also include influence from Western traditions, from classical tragedies to modern drama. Soinka has published about 20 works, drama novels, and poetry. As dramatist, Soinka based his writing on the mythology of his own tribe, the Yoruba with Ogun. Ogun is the god of iron and war. At the center, he wrote his first plays during his time in London, The Web Dwellers and The Lion and the Twelve. Uh, Introduction of the play A Dance of the Forest. Dance of the Forest is a play which is published in 1963. Also in Casa, Dance of the Forest represents the future of humanity. The play was written to commemorate Nigeria's attainment of political independence in 1960. However, it was turned down by the ceremonies committee because it was found to be too critical of the African past and too pessimistic about the future to fit properly into the program of the independence celebrations. A dance of the forest is an allegory of cosmic dimensions. The symbolic conversing of the past, the present, and the future has been conceived as a pattern highly suggestive of the cosmic dance, the dance of creation as well as disruption among the deities against the background of the forest, rhythm of life, cyclic in operation. First, we have to know about the origin of Yorubas. Uh, in modern sub-Sahara Africa, the Yorubas of Nigeria have been described as one of the largest ethnic groups. Many Yorubas are also indigenous of Venice Republic and Togo. They have been described as the most outstanding people of Black Africa. With respect to their myths, in simple terms, the Yoruba can easily be described or identified as people of the culture. The origin of the Yorubas and of their culture remains one of the most contested in Africa. In the 21st century, there are two major explanations that are relied upon to explain the origin of Yorubas. First, um, the first myth is that the Oduduwa creation myth, which teaches the uh, Olomare sent Oduduwa from heaven to create the earth and all that is within, including humans. And second myth is that the migration theory, which teaches that the Yoruba ancestor Oduduwa origins from some regions of Near East or the Middle East. The most comprehensive and most honored chronological chronicle on Yoruba history is documented by the writer Samuel Johnson. Samuel Johnson believed that the Yoruba culture and those of the ancient Egyptians are similar, hence the Yorubas originate in Egypt. In this presentation, I'm going to explore the question is how does Soinka utilize Yoruba cultural elements in dance of the forest? Also, in which way Soinka describe or represent Yoruba culture and its elements in his play, the dance of the forest. A study of Yoruba culture involves Inca's A Dance of the Forest. The play A Dance of the Forest, Yoruba culture is represented as a central aspect. In this play, there is many elements which represent Yoruba culture. The first element is the characters and deities. There is many characters and deities and spirits which were inspired from Yoruba culture. For an example, forest head is the one of the example of that character, and there is many rituals and dances which also inspired from Yoruba culture. The place has a dance for welcome where many spirits were invited to dance and music, and there is a setting which is also based on Yoruba culture. The play Dance of the Forest is set in the jungle, and there the play there the play explores the leadership and its corruption and many other aspects. In the setting of West Africa spiritualism, A Dance of the Forest depicted a complicated interplay between gods, mortals, and the dead with the ultimate goal of experiencing one's own self-discovery. The Yoruba's notion of time is flexible and non-linear, which is reflected in the way that culture is portrayed in drama. Gods, mortals, ancestors, and spirits are all represented in the plays. Soinka depicts as figures three important deities who are commonly regarded as having extraordinary powers. Ogun, Ishoro, and Forest, those three characters are in power position in this play. Soinka illustrates a disagreement between the gods, which finally influence the life and destinies of mankind through his choice of words. In the Yoruba tradition, he is received as a god of purity and morality. The Yoruba trickster god was known as Ishuro. He is the painter who symbolizes the readiness of life, making anxious because of his lack of respect for authority. Soinka used ancestor from ancient time to rejuvenate via ceremonial ancestor worship. Furthermore, the play's final dances focuses on the fight to possess the unborn child of the deceased lady. The performance becomes alive with creatures from many levels of existence and naturals as Osita, Okagu, actives in culture and identity in African and Caribbean theatre. For Africans, there is no such thing as final completed, a permanent side of existence. The living die and become ancestors, the unborn are born to become the living, and the ancestor might return to being unborn. He play starts and finishes outside of the forest in chronological sequence, but most of the action takes place within the forest over the length of one night. In the metaphysical time of the dream, which moves really between past, present, and future. Soinka uses symbols of God and spirit, myths and ritual, song and dancing, and mind as part of the feast in some of his works. He uses Yoruba culture because the songs and tonal rhythms are the tune with the drums and the dancing, and all three things are part of the ritual itself. So he can't separate them. So this way, the whole Swinga represent Yoruba culture in a in this play because he is rooted in that culture, and he also take some of the aspect of Yoruba culture to to satirize in political aspects. Thus, he owes a lot of traditional culture which helped shape the country's reputation as good place to live. Yoruba culture represented in the play therefore flexibly belong to categories. First, the presentation of characters from all realm of existence, God, mortals, ancestor, and spirits. The second principle, non-linear timeline that corresponds to the Yoruba's corrupt concept of time. In drama, Soinka present its characters three major deities widely worshipped by people for their special powers. Forest head Ogun and Ishogun. The choice is significant here because Soinka show a conflict of interest between the gods and eventually affected the lives and destinies of humans. Ogun is the god of war and Yoruba Pathanan. But he is also the god of iron. Uh, Therefore, he is a secret to warriors, hunted blacksmiths, drivers, railroad workers, and artists. In this play, Yoruba mask represent as a symbol. The role of the Yoruba mask or sculpture is not only to create a link between existence. There are masks in addition to cult or secret masks that perform different functions. In his work, Soinka uses masks as a multi-phase symbol. According to L. Markford, the mask has the dual effect of this or transforming the weather and the ambivalence of serving good and evil acts. In the dance of the forest, during the dance welcome, intended to bring human criminals to justice. Forest head, who is the supreme deity, masquerades as the fight failing clerk for the court to carry out his design for letting the humans character judge themselves. Similarly, Ishuro and Eroni masquerade as questioner and the figure is red respectively. Those masks make it possible for them to play their desired roles of judge and foe. Furthermore, Soinka uses another sculpture totem to underline the difference between traditional bound mask and mask of hypocrisy and deception. Here also Inca's another work where he also represent Yoruba culture. In this play, he also represents some of the Yoruba culture's elements, such as dance, song, mime, and many other things. And this play portrays a conflict between traditional and modernism. Uh, this play is very simple in its structure and it is a poetic drama or a musical play. It shows deep familiarity of Soyinka with the various aspects of African culture and the influence of the modern world on the African mind. And here, Soinka gives an account of the origins of the play in an interview in that mentions about the custom and culture of Yoruba. To conclude, among new Commonwealth literatures, African literature stands out for its novelty. Inspiration comes from Yoruba culture, which Soika mixes with other African ideas. About 20% of Nigerians are Yoruba. Middle Eastern origins, they migrated to Europe in the Middle Ages. Prior to the arrival of Christianity and Islam, the Yoruba practices their own religions. Yoruba metaphysics says a person can be in one of three stages, and moving between them require passing through a gate. During Egangan ritual, people physically resurrender their ancestors. In the play Dance of the Forest, the character Ogun is a war deity who is also a creator and destroyer. Affecting the woodland dwellers' lives was a goal for all three gods. Souls exist in objects and natural events. So it has that additional spirit to deities. Changing time is important in Yoruba culture. Dance of the forest captivated many. It is the traditional culture that shaped Soinka's reputation as well as a good writer. These are my references. Uh, Now I'm open for questions. Anyone have any question?
Hina, how does the setting of the play, A Dance of the Forest, reflects Yoruba culture?
In the play Dance of the Forest, there were many aspects which is represented Yoruba culture, such as characters, their dance rituals, their the, the setting also included. The setting of the forest is important part of this play because this setting represent Yoruba culture. In Yoruba culture, jungle is the place where the tribe live, and it is and nature is very close to them. And in the play, the welcome dance is presented by spirits in the jungle, and in the setting of the jungle, there were many things happen, such as the corruption of leadership and other many things.
Hina, what specific Yoruba rituals, ceremonies, or cultural practices are referenced in the play of A Dance of the Forest?
There were many. There were in the play the rituals of dance and music have music played a important role, and through the in the ritual of dance, there were the spirits were invited, and the forest had test the humans as well as spirits. In the play, in the play, there were another there were levels of the music also aspect of music is also played a important role. Thank you.